So we're just going to make a little, what you're going to do, it's easiest to do a little sucker stick. This is just too big to work. So we're just going to do this and pull it towards us.
Cool.
And then I'll show you what we're going to do with it. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not difficult by any means. You can, if you want to. A lot of people do. They cut this to make this perfectly round. It really doesn't matter. It's the base of a carnation, which is imperfect and beautiful anyway. So I'm going to do it just to... Okay. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to pull. And just right next to one another, just do your lines. And some of them you can put more pressure on, some of them you can pull up a little at the end to give it more curve. You want to try that?
Wow.
And you're just going to keep going and going.
A carnation petal. Don't laugh at me. I'm not laughing.
If you can keep doing her, I'm going to just this side. Pardon my reach. Perfect. And then you can do the same thing like that one, as if it had a stem, even though I know it doesn't. Like there's like pretend the center is about there. And don't be afraid to really dig in. And if it tears, it's okay because a carnation has those natural tears and things. It's really okay. The more pull and texture and the variances that you get around the edge, like these ones or the dimpling and stuff like that, really adds to the
Well, it looks like a carnation.
Right. It makes it look more like a carnation.
Sugars are really pretty.
Yeah, that's the disco dust. Very, very, it's fine, but it's not powdery fine. It's very fine, very, very, very sparkly. And what's nice again is when people say, oh, I can't bake, I don't bake, you really don't have to bake. If it's somebody's birthday and you're making pancakes for breakfast, for your little 10-year-old daughter, you can sprinkle some of this on there. Even on mashed potatoes at dinner time if it's somebody's birthday. Yeah. It's just a fun thing. The shelf life is forever, so just to have something like this at home is always fun. So we've got this, and this is more time consuming than the daisy because what we're going to do is we're going to put a little dot of glue on here, and then we're going to put one of our layers on. And then we're going to do another dot of glue and another layer. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to do probably, it depends on how thick it is and how fast, how dry it is in the house, how quickly it's drying. The faster it dries, the more these little dimples and things are going to stay instead of even out or flatten out. But we're just going to do another one.
Where did you learn how to do all this?
There's a lot of things that you can take, like bake classes and things to learn how to do these. And there's a lot of great cake artists out there, video tutorials that you can look up online. Bake has a lot of those tutorials. And you can also just Google things or go on YouTube and say, Google gum paste flowers or YouTube gum paste flowers or gum paste daisy or something like that. So I'm just going to do one more. I'm actually going to go a little bit more into the center as opposed to an outline. I think it just adds a little more textural detail.
And Alicia, you're using the same cutter for each layer, or are
I
you
am.
getting smaller as you're going?
No, same size cutter for each layer. See how that one just tore?
Yeah. Yeah. Carnations do that.
Mm-hmm. It really is okay. You're gonna actually see that you kind of like it that way.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to tear it.
Yeah.
It's really okay. And if for some reason you decide that once it's on there you don't like the way it looks, you just don't use that layer. So you see how you kind of go into the very center of it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just going to add another layer. And you're just going to keep going and going and going. You can even fold them over and do them that way. So sometimes that helps add a little depth to your flower.
Oh, yeah.
And just keep going and going and going. And you're going to end up with, some people say it takes 9 layers. I've done, depending on how thick it is or how humid or something, I've done as many as like 12, 13, 14. Sometimes, I think 9 is probably the minimum though. And you're gonna keep going, keep building, and as it starts to dry, you're gonna keep adding, you know, you can use your little tool and go in there. Actually, don't be afraid when you do it to really dig in there and pull. Get some of those rips and tears. You can see along the edges, the more you pull, the more the rips, the more the tears. Just adds that real florally feel to it. I think one of the problems that we're having actually with this one is I didn't roll the gum paste thin enough. The thinner you have it, the better. This gum paste is a little bit hard and a little bit dry because I used it over and over for different flowers. But if you get it out of there, it's fairly moist. You can roll it very, very thin and can really pull that flower so that you're really stretching it. You're going to end up with a better carnation. Let me just see if I can do one just to really show you what I mean. And like I said, don't be afraid because it's not rocket science or anything. So just have fun.